Okay, so when we talk percent of a number, okay, some things we have to remember. If you have 100% of something, you have the whole amount. So 100% of something is the whole, W-H-O-L-E, like all of it. 100% is all of it, okay? If you have less than 100%, you only have part of it. You got the whole and the part. Last statement here, if you have more than 100%, okay, you have more than the whole.
More than the whole?
Okay, that's a little weird to think about. Okay, usually that doesn't happen in things, but if you think about, you have a bucket of water, and a bucket, and it fits 4 cups of water. Well, if you try to pour 5 cups, you have more than 100%, right? Because you're going to overflow the 4-cup bucket. Okay, so you'd have more than 100%.
That's a small bucket.
Yeah, it wasn't a very big bucket. Okay. So when we think about the pieces here, what does this look like to you right there on the, what I've got written there, 67 over 100 equals n over 90. What does that look like? What thing that we've done before? A proportion. A proportion. It's 2 ratios that are equal to each other. Okay? So, now, look at just the left side of it. What does this remind you of? 67 over 100. Does this remind you? It looks like a fraction. What did we just do yesterday? We can make that percents, right? So, when we're talking percents, and you're going to put them in a proportion, you would always put something over 100. So when you think about that 67 over 100, the 100 being the, would you call it the whole or the part? The 100's the whole, right?
Yes.
So on the bottom here, just write the word whole next to this. Well, let's write it in a different spot. I apologize. Let's write it over to the right. And write whole. Here, we're going to put a fraction line like that. And the 67, is that part?
Part.
This is a part. So the top is the part, the bottom is the whole. So when you're doing a proportion, what we talked about previously with proportions is that you always want to keep the same values in the same location. So since on our 67 out of 100, the whole is on the bottom, on the one on the right, we want to make sure that the whole is there. Okay? So the 90 would represent all of something. So I know it's not 100 because the 100 represents a percent. Okay? And the n would represent a part. Okay? So that's kind of just the way you're always going to set these up. You're always going to have a part and a whole, and one of them is going to be your percent. Okay? The other one, you're always going to have a part and a whole, and one of them is going to be a number, one of them might be a variable. Any one of those could be missing. Happiness brought up a point. She said, but 90 is not 100. Okay? True. So think about this. Let's just talk money-wise. If it costs $90 to go somewhere, okay? That would be 100% of the cost, right? $90. So think about it that way. 90 is 100% of the cost. You have 67% of that, right, of the whole. You don't have all $90 yet, right?
Yeah.
You only have part of it. So we'd have to figure out, well, how much money do you actually have, okay? So how do we do that?
I don't know.
A lot of the questions this time are going to be in word form like this. Okay? I'm going to give you a couple hints on that. All right? Couple hints. You need to, no, the book will have the words for you. Okay? So the book may say something like, what is 67% of 90? So right here we've got this right here, this 67%. We already have one ratio. What is that ratio that we have for sure?
67.
67 is part of it. What goes on the bottom of that one? 100, because it's a percent. So we have one of our ratios. Now, the problem is, where do we put this 90? Does that go on the top or the bottom? Is that a part or a whole? Okay. So, little hint for you, the word of is a little bit of an indicator. Whatever comes after the of is going to be your whole. So if it says in a different way, it doesn't. If it gives a of and it says like what number, that's a variable then. So 90 goes here because it's after the of. And we have our n here. And I know that's the same example that I gave above. So we've written a proportion. A few sections ago, we figured out how to solve proportions. And step 2 says, here's your proportion solving. Cross multiply, so multiply on the diagonal, and divide by the number that's left.
That's what I was thinking of.
So you're going to go here, you're going to multiply. So you're going to do 67 times 90. And what do you get when you do 67 times 90?
6,030.
Oh, yeah.
6030?
6030.
Okay. And then you're going to, next step is you're going to divide by 100. So 6030 divided by 100 equals
60.3.
So 60.
60.3. So if we're talking money, like I did before, you need $90. You have 67%. How much money do you have?
Give me that paper.
60.3.
You have $60 and like 30 cents, right? If that was a money question. So set up the proportion. Little indicator of the word of here. This of word means whatever number comes after that is going to go on as my whole. So this is the proportion way. Okay. So let's look at the next one. What is 145% of 210? So what ratio can I write for sure?
145 out of 100.
145 out of 100 because it's a percent. Anytime it's percent, you're always going to put 100 on the bottom. Okay? Now, is 145% more than the whole, more than something?
Yeah.
Right? It's more than all of it, right? So your answer should be bigger than your whole. 210, is it a whole? It's the whole amount, right? Because it's after the word of. So 210 there. So my answer, because 145% is bigger than 100%, my answer should be bigger than my 210. So, Grady, did you do 145 times 210?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
3, 0, 4, 5, 0.
Okay, 30,450. And then you're going to take that 30,450 and you're going to divide by 100.
4, 3,
304.5. Okay, so n, and we'll just make that n equals 304.5. Okay, so we're putting together a couple skills we've learned now. We've learned how to solve proportions previously. Okay, cross, multiply, divide. We've learned how to make a percent into a ratio or a fraction. Okay. Then we can set up the proportion. So the kind of the new thing we're getting is how do we take this word sentence and turn it into a number sentence. Okay. So not a ton of new there, but it's kind of putting some things together.
Why do we need to learn this? This is
Cross
class
and
for
multiply.
algebra.
So let me show you another way. And I don't care which way you use. Some people the proportion ways like, I love that way, that makes sense, I'm just going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
I want to show you this way. This way is actually the one that I like better, but that's how my brain works. So it might be different for you, okay?
Convert your percent as a decimal. Okay, I can do that.
So I want to tell you a little hint about math, words and math. The word is means something in math. It's a math symbol.
Is
Is means equals. So the word is, anytime you see the word is, you can think equals.
What equals?
oh,
that makes
equals.
What is, so what equals 8%, and the word of also means something in the math world. The word of means multiplication. The word of means multiplication. So I can rewrite this word sentence, what being what I need, so that's my variable. So we'll call that n. N equals 8% of is multiplication times 50. So I just rewrote that, and now I actually have a math problem. I have two things multiplied by each other. So now that I have a math problem there, how would I put that in my calculator? So here's the steps for that. First, it's hard to put a percent in your calculator, so make that a decimal. How do you make a percent a decimal? I know, not a percent. So n equals, you need to convert your percent to a decimal. So 2 jumps which way? Ooh, that's tough.
Left.
Yeah, left. So when we went from decimal to percent, we went right. Now we're going the other way. So this way, time we're going to go left. So 2 jumps. So I take a jump, gets me to the left side of the 8, and one more jump gets me a 0 there. So 0.08, or I like to sometimes put that 0. Nope.
N equals 0.08.
Times my 50. And now I can put 0.08 in my calculator. So I take 0.08 times 50. So n equals 4.
What? That's what?
Okay.
That's
So,
easier.
again, you can do these with proportions,
Oh, I'm so behind.
or you can do these making them an equation. Okay?
Wait, you have homework on the weekend?
All right. So story problem.
Oh.
Mine just got cut off on when I put it in the iPad. So the largest frog in the world is called the Goliath frog. Okay? It's found in West Africa. This type of frog can grow to be 12 inches long.
4%.
The smallest frog in the world is about 4% as long as the Goliath frog. What is the approximate length of the smallest frog in the world? So we just set up a, what is it asking? It's saying, we want to know what length is the smallest frog? Okay, that's the question. You don't have to rewrite that question. That's the question it's asking, right? What's the length of the smallest frog? Okay. What do we know? We know that the smallest frog, and we're going to call him S. S isn't a good one.
F.
Would you call him F?
Yeah.
Okay. The smallest frog here is, okay, the smallest frog in the world is about 4%. So we'll say 4%, and I could have used the word is here, 4% as long as the Goliath of, which is multiplication. The Goliath was how long?
12 inches.
12 inches.
Hey, it's not 12 inches.
So we could say inches here if we want. So smallest frog is 4% of our Goliath frog. Two ways to do it. I'll do it both ways. We'll do the proportion way first. Proportion way. We have 4 over 100, because it's 4%, equals blank over 12. And our F here that we're trying to find. So cross multiply. We would do 4 times 12 equals 48. And then we do 48 divided by 100. Are we following what I did there?
Yeah.
Okay. And that equals 0.48. So we're at the smallest frog equals 0.48 inches. So that's the proportion way. If you like that way, stick with it, go with it, run with it, do it.
Wait, what?
Totally fine with that if you like the proportion way.
What's a large part?
The other way. And I'd ask that you write them both down just for your notes, just so you have them both. The other way, convert. So we get our smallest frog is, what's 4% as a decimal? Who can help me with that one? Grady? 0.04 because it's 2 hops. So we got 4%. We go 1 hop, 2 hops. We got to put that 0 in there. Okay? Times 12. So this one, just use your calculator. 0.04 times 12
0.48.
gives you F equals 0.48. So we get the same answer,
Yeah?
which is good. It means we did something right the first time, or we did something right the second time. So 0.48 inches.
Yeah, I got it right.
Taking a story problem, figuring out what it's asking. What's the length of the smallest? And then trying to write an equation or something we can solve from it. Okay, this is a skill that is something you'll continue to learn as you go through middle school because it's a skill that you'll need as you go forward in life and in math. But being able to take what the question's asking and get that, and I'm here to help you with that, okay? So don't feel like you have to be stuck on that. All right?